Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the world famous podcast, Beating the Press, with your two hosts, myself, Ty, and the beautiful Kristian, who's also sat alongside me virtually. As always, if football is your kind of thing, or if you like our voice, or if you like podcasts in general, to help the channel grow, just do us a favour, click that like, subscribe button. And if you're feeling really generous, how about sharing it with your friends and family? So today, moving on to today's episode, it is on the transfer window that has just come to a shuddering end close. Now, in my lifetime, I do not remember a dramatic, a volcanic, an explosive. I'm not running out of adjectives. Transfer window in my lifetime. It is just absolutely bonkers. If you could pick any of all those transfers and you had a little lacquer, I think you'd be a millionaire. There's some of those transfers were just outrageous. I mean, records being broken, players going back to where they used to play, legends moving on that you never thought would have happened. Massive clubs making disastrous financial decisions and just to keep the club afloat. Big clubs spending within their means, big clubs definitely not spending within their means. There's so much to talk about, but the best way we thought we could do it, just to get everything in, we thought we'd start with the 10 biggest transfers of this window. So with that being said, I'll pass on to the brilliant Kristian.
Mate, you were getting me excited there. Build up.
I feel like I'm Jim White. I feel like Jim White's just inspired me on Talk Sport. It's everything. Him and Dharmesh Sheth and what's his name? Savi Koviho, whatever his name is. Everything's like exciting. It's brilliant. If they read, the sky is blue. Everything's like happy. So I tried to get into it. But yeah, I'll pass on to you anyway. I've done enough talking.
Yeah, obviously the transfer window slammed shut, as Jim White constantly says. I don't know why it slammed. But obviously very crazy transfer window. Very exciting for a lot of fans out there. Unfortunately, not for us, but we'll obviously move on to that later on in the podcast. So obviously, Ty mentioned about the top 10 most expensive summer transfers worldwide. So I'm going to kick it off with the 10th most expensive. So that's Buendia. So he went from Norwich to Aston Villa for 33 million. And then we move on to Tammy Abraham, Chelsea to Roma for 34 million. Rafael Varane from Real Madrid to Man United for 34.2 million. And then we've got Upamecano from Leipzig to Bayern, 36 million. Ben White, Brighton to Arsenal for 50 million. Hakimi from Inter to PSG for 51 million. Jadon Sancho, of course, from Dortmund to Man United for 73 million. Lukaku from Inter to Chelsea for 97.5. And then Jack Grealish, just to round it off nicely, for a nice 100 million from Villa to Man City. Now, just going back, we'll just go back from the 10th all the way back up to number one. Just our quick thoughts on what we think of them transfers alone, and obviously who we think out of them 10 most expensive summer transfers worldwide, who got the best deal. So we'll start off with Buendia. Your thoughts on Buendia and Norwich to Aston Villa?
Yeah, I like him. I think he's a good player. I was surprised he went back down at the Championship. I thought he would have left Norwich and found himself another Premier League club when they got relegated. But for him, coming back, the price. I think you get any decent player, you got to pay 30 million for him. That's just the market at the moment. So Buendia, I think it's a good buy for Villa. But I think Villa are quite smart. They knew Grealish was going to go, so they got him in early doors, didn't they? And obviously we'll see how it works out for Boys. I like him. I think he's a good player.
Yeah, with Villa, because obviously we're going to be touching on certain clubs that have done well, and certainly Villa will be up there, won't they? They obviously reinvested the money for Grealish very wisely. Tammy Abraham. This was a bit of a surprise to me anyway. 34 million was, it's like you said, it's the going rate, especially for a young English player. And he's obviously followed Jose Mourinho over there. Were you surprised by Jose Mourinho signing him?
I was very surprised at that because I never thought he was. I never thought Mourinho fancied him. And then the other bit about that is Roma spending money. Roma spent quite a bit of money this transfer window, and they were not expected to spend money. But Mourinho's got his money now. He scored his first goal against Salernitana as well I won it this weekend, just gone, well, just recently anyway. So he's just, popped his cherry, so to speak. So he scored. Yeah, I mean, surprised that was probably one of the ones that I was surprised. But I think it's really good for English players to go abroad, and it's historically I think that's been one of the things that has held the England national team back. English players not going abroad and embracing a new culture, understanding, learning different ways and styles of coaching and management, understanding how different teams play. So I'm glad he's gone, but I'm surprised he's gone.
Yeah, it's very brave, isn't it? Like, obviously, you think of like the very few people that have gone. Like, he seemed to get along really well with the Chelsea lads, especially like Mason Mount. Been a few of the Instagram videos where they're all dancing and everything like that. It seems like a really good team spirit, and it would have been so easy for him just to chill at Chelsea, pick up a pay packet, and get a few cup games here and there. And even just to choose like an English club, I'm pretty sure there have been a few clubs that are after him. Maybe he could have went alone at Arsenal or something like that. Because they need more of Chelsea's players. But I just think that's a good move for him. I'll be interested to see how it goes, and I hope he does well. Moving on to Man United, who are obviously very busy in the transfer market. They obviously got Varane. Or is it Varane? Which one do you say?
I go Varane.
Varane, yeah.
Raphael Varane, that's just...
we'll go with Varane. Yeah, so obviously that was a really impressive one. Madrid obviously losing the Varane and Ramos pretty much in the same window. But he came in the other day and I thought, he kind of hit the ground running. Obviously, United got a clean sheet, mainly thanks to David De Gea, but he did look sound. He didn't look out of place. It didn't look like his first game. It was a really solid first game. What are your thoughts on Varane?
Yeah, I mean, he's a top-class centre-half, no doubt about that. You're talking about the Wolves game, and we obviously were messaging on WhatsApp. I'm surprised Traore had a couple of times just to run at him, and he didn't do it.
Yes.
And I think that would have tested him really well to see how, let's see how good you are. Nothing. There was nothing challenging for him. Everything was in front of him. Jimenez dropped really deep. If anything, I think Maguire probably got. I think he would isolate a couple of times. He looked a bit weaker than Varane. Well, that's just going to be it. But I think Varane, top quality centre half. So that's a really good signing for him.
Yeah. So Konate, it seemed like a lifetime ago.
I know.
I feel like we signed him in like 2000. It was that long ago. It was. Okay. I'm happy he came. Obviously, we were totally depleted last year with centre backs, and then all of a sudden we've got, I think, 4 or 5. Maybe I think we had to send out one out on loan recently. The young lad,
Reece Williams.
Reece Williams. So we're left with 5 now, and obviously Matip starting the season well. Virgil van Dijk's obviously Virgil van Dijk. So he hasn't really seen any competitive action yet. He looked decent in the friendlies that I've seen, but again, friendlies you can't really tell anything. But are you happy with that sign? Obviously, Liverpool fan.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We talk about transfer windows, and you said it. You were really excited, and I think most fans are. By it's almost like your club's got to buy something. We live in an era where your club's got to buy something in the transfer window. If not, you're going to have a poor season. It's bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers. It's not like buying players guarantees your success. I knew we got our centre halves back, and the rest of the team I was happy with. Do you know what I mean? We've got enough covered in those areas, and we've got about 6-7 midfielders. We've got the 4 good forwards, and obviously we've been trying to get rid of Origi for about 2 years. Well, no, I'm just Konate, really happy with him. I actually think the first choice centre half partnership for Liverpool long term would be Van Dijk and Gomez, but obviously Matip's got that. But it just gives us that flexibility to have 4 quality centre halves now. Last season we were scraping the barrel with Conference League centre halves, and we still ended up in 3rd or whatever it was. I'm happy he's in. Just gives us that covered in there, and I think they've just you identify a weakness and you plug it, and that's what the recruitment department did. And Michael Edwards, who hopefully doesn't go, which that's another subject.
Yeah, absolutely. So next one is Konate's partner, Upamecano, to Bayern. Obviously, Bayern have pretty much pillaged Leipzig, as they usually do with the best talent in the Bundesliga. They just seem to pull them all together just so that no one can catch them. So Upamecano, he was obviously linked with Man United quite well. Everybody's linked with United, but he was strongly linked with United for a time, and then a couple of other Premier League clubs. Good player. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, I think for the price you've paid, he can't really go along again with his age. If it does go tits up, they'll sell him for the same amount. You know what I mean? It's not going to be a huge loss. And you're right about Bayern; they'll just go and pick the best Bundesliga talent about, and get them. And it is, there's got to be some. I mean, it's just the Bundesliga will just carry on as it is. It's just unfair than the other teams, but it is what it is. But it is a good signing, and obviously with Jerome Boateng leaving as well on a free, he's gone to Lyon, and Alaba going to Real Madrid. So they had to get someone in, and I think they've obviously forward planned. Is that the right word? You know what I mean? So they've obviously thought about that before, and they got him in.
Yeah. Next one is this one's a bit of a touchy one for me. I think Brighton to Arsenal, Ben White, 50 million. All I can think of, is the is it Chris Tucker at Rush Hour? $50 million.
Yeah.
50 million. Like, really? Jesus. We got Chelsea Clinton. But 50 million, he's a talented lad. Don't get me wrong, but 50 million. I keep on saying it. 50 million. Go on, your thoughts on that?
Chris Tucker, that's what my thoughts on that. He's like, fuck me, 50. And when you were going through those 10, my first thought was, fuck me, there is some tax on English players. We go through the rest of them, like Ben White. Fucking, are you telling me he's better than Upamecano? Are you telling me he's better than Varane? Are you telling me he's better than? Do you know what I mean? The list is, and that's just some of them. And then we can go in historically. You can go with the fullbacks and centre halves, and it's like, well, they're not. You know what I mean? So he's not. He's just, the only defence to that transfer is Arsenal. If that is, it's just fucking Arsenal. Why Arsenal are fucking stupid, aren't they? They don't know what they're doing. They'll get rid of what was it, Martinez for like 20 and buy Ramsdale for 25. You know what I mean? I don't even know. They're getting rid of Bellerin and bought this other lad in. I just don't know. They've got a centre half pairing of Holding and Chambers who are like a championship, and they're doing that by choice. It's not like Phillips and Williams when we know. So I don't, that the only defence is Arsenal, and we can have a podcast on Arsenal, but I'm sure there's plenty of other Arsenal fans who have just been banging it in. But I just think it's Arsenal's recruitment is fucking all over the place.
That's good money. That is good money, and I just do not understand it. He's hardly going to improve them in reality. He's a better player. He's probably better than what they have, but it's like they're just thinking, who are Man United linked with? Who are Liverpool linked with? Let's just buy them. It's like they've got no thought process behind it. But like you said, we could do a whole podcast on Arsenal alone. Next one, which was 51 million into the PSG, was Hakimi. I loved Hakimi. I only came across him last year. I don't know if he's been pulling up trees before that, but last season he was absolutely brilliant, to the point where Conte was getting to a point where he was resting him, and I was thinking, to be resting a right back, that is something special. They'd be scoring like 3 and 4, and then it'd be like 60 minutes, and then they'd bring off Hakimi. They'd bring off like Lukaku, and then Hakimi. And you're thinking, this lad must be special, and he clearly is. Is he like a right wing back?
That's exactly what he is. He's a right wing back, but obviously at PSG he'll be playing as a right back. I mean, he can play a right winger at right back for PSG. You don't want to make a difference, does it? So he's quality. He is quality, and they've obviously got a decent deal for him. It's just interesting with it. Obviously, they've lost Hakimi, they've lost Lukaku, and I think a lot of clubs, we'll touch on it later. That big clubs, some big clubs are really smart financially and make the right decisions, whereas some are not so much, and they find themselves close to. I mean, football's a mad business. Any other business, these clubs would just be liquidated. See you, thanks for coming. You fucked up by.
Yeah.
But it just lives in its own world. It's just ridiculous. But he's a quality player. Inter, obviously, it's a big loss for him. I mean, him and Lukaku were a big part of the team that overthrew Juve on the La Liga, on the Serie A title even. And he's a quality player. PSG have definitely got a ball of it.
Yeah. Moving on to the final 3 most expensive transfers. We've got Jadon Sancho, who obviously moved from Dortmund to Man United for 73 million. So this one was always on the cards. It's just one of those no smoke without fire type rumours that just wouldn't go away. And eventually, obviously, they got their man. He came in and he kind of had a poor performance, I think, on his full debut. But I think he'll come good. Like you say, with a couple of the other signings, I think in reality you'll probably get that back for him if it doesn't work out there and thereabouts. What do you think about the Sancho transfer? Do you think it's a good signing?
Yeah, I mean, obviously brilliant at Dortmund. I don't know. I don't know my answers for Sancho, just because the first few games he's not done anything. I think Man United play in a different style to the way Dortmund play as well. I think the team and the manager he's playing for may well hold him back and make him, he's a good player. And I don't think the way he plays it might not allow him to flourish. I mean, I might be completely wrong, but I think I looked at that transfer and I think I was questioning it, and I just think it might be. He's one of those who's not a guaranteed starter. You'd think he would be, but I think the way Greenwood started, it's like, does he start every game? I don't know. And it comes back to that English tax again, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? He's ridiculous. But I mean, it just reminded me of Man United. I think they were after him for about 3 years or 4 years, and every year it's like going to get him. It reminded me of the in Friends. For those of you that watch Friends, it was that Ross and Rachel, where Rachel said to Ross, you kept trying. 15 years later, bam, you got me. You kept trying. 15 years, bam, you got me.
That's it.
And, they eventually got him, but let's see if let's see how it works out for him.
Yeah, he plugs the gap that they needed to get on that left hand side. He's I think he will come good, but like you say, when Mason Greenwood's starting the way that he's starting, obviously they're bringing in Ronaldo, it kind of puts it on the back burner a little bit, and you can't, when you're comparing the likes of them two, it's going to be difficult for him. And I just wonder whether he'll feel the pressure on that. But hopefully for United he does well. Lukaku, so this one was Inter to Chelsea, 97.5 million. Obviously he went from United to Inter, and he kind of was sent away from the Premier League. I kind of think maybe a little bit unfairly, but he's went away, he's grew. Like his game has absolutely grew no end. And I just think he's come back just completely different play. His strength was always there, but his intelligence of run, they've improved a lot more. The way that he holds off people, the way that he holds up the ball is a lot better. His touch is still leaves a little bit to be desired, but he's a much better player now. I think that's a solid sign, even for the price that they're paying. What do you think about it yourself?
Yeah, Lukaku's a funny one for me. I mean, it's going to be another controversial for me. We talk about him holding the ball up like it's a positive. I think it's bog standard as a professional footballer, especially as a Premier League centre forward. You've got Chris Wood and Ashley Barnes hold the ball up for Burnley. It doesn't mean they're £100 million strike. He's obviously done really well in it and he's scored goals. I still talk about, and I say the really, really, really big games is when you want your centre forward to come in and flow. You talk about Mo Salah, he turns up. The big games, he turns up, he scores goals. I need to see it from him. The Liverpool game, I thought was a good chance for him. The Arsenal game was just ridiculous. Me and you would have bullied that Chambers and Holding. But they had the Liverpool game. I thought he rolled Matip once in first half, and apart from that, he didn't do a lot. Matip, he tried to run Matip, and Matip basically read him a back pocket job. And then he didn't do anything against Van Dijk, you know what I mean? And I think they just managed the game so well against him. There's a couple of times when he tried to play a ball as well, and he overhit it. So I just think that little bit of composure from him is still lacking to be absolutely elite. And that's why he doesn't get recognised in those top players, you know what I mean? And he'll do a job for Chelsea because they create that much. And ultimately, he's replacing Timo Werner, who was fucking dog shit, you know what I mean? So anything replacing him will be good. That's my view on it. Probably not the view of most listeners and viewers.
No, well, I think you are right. I agree, and then I kind of have a little bit of a difference in that, it depending on when you're talking about Lukaku, can be a different type of Lukaku. You mentioned it perfectly there. If we'd have done this podcast after the Arsenal game, although Arsenal are very average defensively, he just looked absolutely unplayable, and he can do that to teams. And he's basically built like a heavyweight boxer. No one can get near him. Like, obviously, he doesn't even need to have any kind of hold-up skill just to hold anyone off because he is that big. They have to try and get around him. But against Liverpool, like you say, he was non-existent, and that's kind of the critique that was aimed at him at United. Could he do it in the big games?
Flat track bully. That's the phrase that's been thrown at him. But he needs to put some performances up to get rid of that tag. Do you know what I mean? If you don't be a flat track bully, start performing against the big teams. We'll see.
Yeah. So moving on to the number one, obviously highly sought after, very popular player, especially amongst the England fans. We've got Jack Grealish moving from Villa to Man City for 100 million. 100 million. Like, obviously, I'm a big fan. Like most people, I'm a big fan of Jack Grealish. I think he's probably one of the cleverest, as they say in the media. He's one of the cleverest players to play the game. You know, you can go down, you can win your tackles, you know, you can keep the ball, you can travel distance, take the pressure off you, basically. But again, 100 million, that was massive. Obviously, we preface that with the fact that there's a 100 million buyout clause in his contract.
Yeah.
Would they have paid any more? I don't know, but 100 million was the going rate, and Man City thought he was worth it, so they signed him, obviously. So, what about your thoughts on 100 million Jack Grealish? British transfer record, by the way.
English tax, sort of put it down to 100 million. Is he? I don't know. My question is, would a non-English team pay 100 million for him? I think the answer is no. You know, for a player that didn't start for England, I think, did he start a game in the Euros? I don't think he did. I'm just trying to wrap my brain here. I mean, he's obviously a quality player, but the value of it is, I think it's high. But then I always look at this, the value thing. It's irrelevant to fans. It doesn't. I don't know why fans use that as ammunition to fight against another fan. It doesn't make a slight bit of difference. I mean, a club, Liverpool, could spend $1 billion on a player. They're not going to go bust. They'll just still, you know, it's just an argument for fans. And I also thought it was really interesting. I saw a stat last week that we talk about percentage of, you know, income and how much you spend. So Man City spent 20% of the income from last year for 100 million, obviously, for Grealish. Yeah, if we go back, I think it's 20 years or whatever, 25 years maybe, when Newcastle bought Alan Shearer, they paid £15 million for him, and that was 40% of their annual income. So we talk about transfer markets and fees going up. Football's a huge business at the moment. You know, you're getting investors from oil-rich countries, from America, from Far East. It's because there's lots of money. You know, they're pumping money into it. So this income that these clubs are generating from all these tours abroad and everything, you know, the money's obviously a lot, and it's a funny. I always think it's a funny subject when fans think, oh yeah, you know, your club's got done over in the transfer market. Does it really make a difference to you? You know, does it make a difference to the club? No, it's it's just an argument. But yeah, £100 million. I mean, what's the market? You know, I think he's a good player. They signed a really good player. And yeah, I mean, it was interesting when they did sign. We had a little podcast, and we said it's a lot of money to pay for someone that's not guaranteed to start every game. But he's obviously started the first few games. But then you got Sterling and Ford, and there's De Bruyne's got to come in as well. You'd think he's going to play every game, but you just don't know how he's. You know, Guardiola could change it. You know, next time they play and back on bench, you go Jack. But yeah, a quality player. But I think, you know, obviously they've played some weak teams so far, so it'll be interesting to see how they do when they play against the better sides.
Yeah, exactly. So we've done the 10 most expensive, but obviously there's a few names that are missing off that list. Two in particular, which would have shattered any of these had it been any other year. Obviously, we've got. Well, we were actually going to do who got the best value on the transfer market, but I don't think there's any point. We'll just move straight on to Messi for this next part. Obviously, Messi went to PSG, and then you've got Donnarumma. That's a competitive transfer, free transfer. So thoughts on? Well, we don't even need to do Lionel Messi because obviously, you know, we know he's the GOAT. Yeah. Donnarumma is a special mention, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously, from the Euros podcast before we even started, I said he's the best keeper in the world, and he showed it in the tournament, and he's obviously got the player of the tournament. Donnarumma was to be the best keeper in the world for the next decade. So PSG have just got an absolute, you know, that is a phenomenal. I mean, obviously they'll get a huge signing on fee, which will, you know, be compensated by the fact they don't have to pay a transfer fee. Donnarumma was a phenomenal footballer. And then obviously they've got Ramos in, they've got Wijnaldum, they've got Messi. They got Hakimi as well, the only one they've had to pay, but they've got about 4 free transfers. I mean, they've probably still had to outlay about $500 million in signing on fees and wages and stuff. So even though it's free transfers, it's not really a free transfer. It's not like Burnley could have gone and picked those 4 players up on free transfers. Unfortunately, it don't work like that. But yeah, no. Just going back to the question about who I think has had the best transfer window. I mean, I think Chelsea have done well in that they've just identified. The only problem with Chelsea, I think, is they missed out on the centre half, so they let Kurt Zouma go. They didn't get Koundé in. And the other one who I think have done really well is I think Villa have done well. They've obviously lost Grealish, but they've bought well. They've bought Buendia, they've bought Leon Bailey. They've got Danny Ings, which is a really, really good signing. And they got right back. I can't remember, they got another right back, didn't they? So Matty Cash. I'm sure I saw it. I'm thinking, but yeah, they've just bought well. You know what I mean? And they're a club that's well. It looks like they run really, really well, and the management, the recruitment team know exactly what they're doing, and they planned ahead. They knew Grealish was going. Well, let's not wait for him to go and then start panic buying. Let's do our business early and move from there.
Yeah, I agree with you on Chelsea. Chelsea got a good one, and also Villa. With those aside, I'm just thinking European-wise, has anybody ever had a better transfer window than PSG this transfer window?
No, I can't think of. No. I mean, you could have Messi on your own and you'd be thinking that's the best transfer ever.
Yeah.
But then to top that off with the best keeper in the world, one of the greatest centre halves the game's ever seen. You got Ronaldo, Champions League, Premier League winner. You got Hakim. Yeah, I mean, they've bought. Is it Nuno Mendes, the left back from Portugal? They bought him on loan with a view to buy as well, so they've got him in, and they kept Mbappe as well. And that's just, I mean, that Neymar, Mbappe, Messi, I mean, even if it's for one season, wow, it's going to be a delight to watch that. I think we've got to get over to France some point, one of the shitty stadiums where we might sneak a ticket. Let's get over and watch them 3 play.
I was trying to think of if anyone could rival that across Europe, that transfer window, and I couldn't think of any, but one kind of did peek into my mind, and you probably might be able to help me out because you're better with the Italian football. I seem to remember maybe back in the 90s, it might have been the late 90s, early 2000s, it was either Lazio buying a lot of players or Inter buying a lot of players at the same time. It was like a few of them. Do you remember which one I'm referring to?
Yeah, they were both of them. I remember last year, I think it was when they had Marcelo Salas, Veron, Mancini, that sort of era. And then you had Inter bought Ronaldo, Zamorano, Alvaro Recoba. They went through some absolute players. So yeah, no, I mean, even compared to that, this is a pretty special transfer window. And the other bit is to get them into PSG, to La Liga. That's a tough sell, but they've obviously done that to get them in, and I think they're going to be really, really good. Just before we sort of wrap it up, I just want to have your view on this. We've talked about the best transfer window. I'm going to ask you the worst transfer window in the world, and I think there's only one team that's going to stand out. And we'll let the listener viewers know some of the dealings they've done and how badly they've been managed. I'll be surprised if you don't say this team. If not, I'll come in. So for you, who's been there?
I don't get this wrong. I really don't get this wrong. I'm going, personally, the team that stands out to me is just Arsenal. Arsenal's the team that stands out to me. Newcastle, obviously, they never barely do jack. I don't want to swear, but they don't really do anything. Am I missing someone really obvious?
Just to let listeners and viewers know, we do not always ask each other. So this is this is proof of that. The team that I was talking about was Barcelona.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So I think you're obviously thinking, in the Premier League, but no, I just think, you look at what they've done. They've obviously had to get rid of Messi because they couldn't register him. Just couldn't register him. Alba and Busquets and Piqué have had to take a pay cut. They sold Griezmann back to Atletico for 40 million. They bought it for 120. They had to get him for 40. Then they've bought some players in, but wow, they've absolutely spooned it as well for some of them. Do you know what I mean?
I was almost tempted to throw Jurgen a text and be like, just shot a dirty little 10 million in Coutinho. Surely we can get him back for something like that. It's crazy to think that, I couldn't even see that coming because Griezmann started decently. So it's
I think Barca have started all right as well, haven't they? When you think about it.
Yeah, so basically what they're going to do, they're just hitting Project Reset. A totally mismanaged club. But Premier League wise, obviously many people would put us in on that one of the worst transfer markets, considering where we are. But in reality, it's like you say, sustainability. We're not, we're obviously not spending the owners' money ourselves, but it's nice to know that the club's kind of well run in a sense. But then again, also, it's a bit worrying that we're not spending. But then you've got to think: is it a case of the players are not available to buy? Now, I would rather do this and not rush into a signing, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I've got 100% trust in our recruitment team at Liverpool. I mean, there's some fans, and I call them fans, who very loosely calling them fans. But it's that they say FSG out and all this, and because we haven't bought. I'm like, literally, what do you want? I mean, you look, what they deserve. Those fans deserve the Konchesky and Paulson era, and that is it. They don't deserve anything else. Look at the team. We've had a year without any centre halves, and we still finished third. This is effectively the same team that won absolutely pissed the Premier League, won the Champions League. So this is a phenomenal team. We were missing centre halves. They've gone out. They've bought another one. The new 3 were coming back fit anyway. So effectively, we've got 4 new signings in the centre half area, and that is it. And midfield, we've lost Wijnaldum, yes, but then we've got in Harvey Elliott, and people talk in this country more than anyone. Fans, got to give youth a chance, But then it's like, well, no, we've got to go spend money. It's like, you can't have it both ways. If we go, I mean, I thought we were in for Saul Niguez, and I really like him. So that's a big value Chelsea. But if we got him, I would have liked him to get. I don't know. Again, there were all the rooms. I don't know if we were ever in for him. But we've got Harvey Elliott now, so he's getting a chance to play. He's keeping. I mean, you look at the midfield. You've got Fabinho, Henderson, Harvey Elliott, Thiago, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Naby Keita, Curtis Jones. That's 7 players, 7 starters. Right? Who else are you going to bring? So Liverpool have obviously had a look and thought, right, okay, we're actually well covered in that area. We don't need to get another midfielder. Front 4, absolutely fine. I think the Origi bit, he needs to fuck off, and then maybe can we get someone else in? I think the way our squad is and where we are, I'm absolutely comfortable and fine with Klopp and the recruitment team. The biggest issue for me is if there's rumours Michael Edwards is leaving at the end of the season. That will be a monster of a blow to us. I would love for him to stay, because we have been, and I'd say alongside Leicester, in the Premier League, the best team when it comes to recruitment, transfers. You look at our net spend, it's like zilch, and that's all down to him. He's a phenomenal negotiator.
Value for money, certainly. Yeah, definitely. It's just I'm a little bit worried about the front line, in that once the AFCON starts, that we're going to be away, we're going to be without the guys for a few weeks. Hopefully the other lads step up, and I just thought maybe we would bring someone in, but like all good things come to those who wait. With Van Dijk, we didn't rush, we didn't go out and get someone else. We just waited. And we ended up getting the player that we want, and I'm just kind of glad that we do that. But like you say, with the fans that were going on about it, when Ronaldo signed on Twitter, I think the trending topic right at the top was obviously Ronaldo going to Man United, and then second below that was FSG out, and it was so reactionary from our fans. Because another club makes that sign, and we reacted like that, and it's wrong. Whether you FSG out, FSG in, or whatever, won't be so reactionary over your rivals. It's ridiculous.
Brilliant. Right. Okay. Just as always, before we finish, we have a question of the day. So today's question of the day is a real simple. Who do you think had the best transfer window? As always, let us know, comments below. We do respond to all the comments. Like it, subscribe it, share it to your friends and family if you're feeling generous. As always, guys, see you in the next one.
See you later, guys.